So I've been talking about operating systems, infrastructures, hardware, software, coding, um, the history of these words, the origin, where they came from, and how they are being used, basically. The last video I spoke about specifically what is the operating system being used for cities, states, countries, and what have you in terms of managing, the businesses and everything. And if you watch my previous video, you will notice that the UCC, in my opinion, is considered, and based on the AI, is considered mainly, I would say, the main de facto operating system that manages countries' commerce, e-commerce, businesses, corporations, and business transactions, contract, contracts, the law of contracts, the UCC, which is the Unified Commercial Code. Now, the interesting part on this video, and I would say that video would be the most important conclusion, I would say, among all the rest of the sessions in this series. I'm going to try also to do, most probably this would be the last video in this series. The idea of this series is just to share with you my experience and my knowledge, my studies, my discoveries about how important to know the root of the words, where they came from, the origin, how to use them, why they're being used, and how important to understand the concept behind infrastructures, hardware, operating systems, coding, languages. Therefore, you will build a responsible, professional, conscious through your IT career. And that's my recommendation actually, is to go deep into the basics and the subjects of these words, because again, as I always say on my previous videos, with computers, operating systems, infrastructure, and languages comes a great responsibility. It's a very powerful tools. Coding in general, whether it's a legal coding, e-commerce, computer, you name it, languages are very powerful instruments. And in my opinion, as a sysadmin, computer engineer, architect, solution architect, I consider this very serious. And therefore, I sharing what I'm sharing right now with you. So I'm gonna share my screen and show you the next question that I touched on in this. As you can tell from the previous videos, I've been using various platforms of AI to get more insightful output from them. And again, I'm not saying this is like de facto. You have always to really verify what the AI is saying. But in general, I believe it's doing an awesome work. So my next question here, I'm going to have like around 3 questions on this video. and that will most probably conclude the series. If we have UCC in place, so why do we need constitutions? I mean, think about it. If the UCC is managing almost all the businesses, transactions, corporations, everything, it's just like, seriously. Like, as far as I know, it's just the main layer. However, there is actually explanation here why constitution exists. While a UCC might be seen as analogous to an operating system, providing rules for efficient business transaction, constitutions, and fundamental different, they represent the foundational laws, values, and principles that underpin a society. So, again, I don't want to go through all this. You might have it already on your screen. It could be a little bit different though, because sometimes the AI regenerating or generating the same questions is not always the same. So it has like, I noticed like every output has its own signature, if you want. They're very similar, but still has its own signature. Now, as you can tell, very interesting here. Think of it as the operating system. And that's what really I want to focus on right now. That's true. The UCC, it's an operating system. Now, let me see. The operating system dictates how things run. Okay, great. The Constitution provides the core principles for governance that guide decisions on everything from law enforcement to economic policy. Now, I won't go actually in details on explaining these things. I will leave this for you to do your own due diligence and your own research on the subject. There's a lot of things to unfold here. However, I'm going to continue protecting fundamental rights. Constitution protect individual rights and freedoms, ensuring they are not infringed upon by the government. Why the government would do this in the first place? But anyway, that's the Constitution. This is not about just efficiency or functionality. It's about safeguarding people's liberties and creating a more just society. Okay, great. Think of it as the firewall for citizens in this analogy. See the firewall in computers? It safeguards against arbitrary power. Great. Okay, so as I said, there's a lot here to discuss. And again, I'm going to leave the rest for you. In conclusion, the analogy between a UCC and the Constitution is a powerful way to think about how the legal system works. However, it's crucial to understand that they are distinct entities. And that's actually very important. It is crucial. With different goals. Constitutions provide the foundational principles for society, while operating systems are tools for managing its operations. They both serve vital purposes, but their functions remain fundamentally different. Now, something here I want to just bring your attention to, that the word society is mentioned probably everywhere with Constitution, but not even a single time I seen, I might have missed it, but again, a man or woman. You See, so they talk about society, but they don't specifically mention a man and woman rights. Again, that could be part of the society, but I'm just being probably um, picky, if you will. Now that will lead me, and that's actually where I'm going with this, will lead me to the next question. By the way, I want to show you before I jump to, I want to show you that ChatGPT, Claude, Microsoft, Gemini. I would recommend really when you do your research, especially on something similar like that, computer stuff, understanding the words and the fundamentals, the basics, is to use all of them. It might be too much, but I recommend actually, so you can get different perspective and more in-depth information from each. Yes, here what I wanted to show you, the way ChatGPT. Why do we need constitution if we have UCC? The way ChatGPT broke it down was really awesome. Again, this is something very important I want to say here. This is not like de facto or like a verified book, if you will, but it is something to, do your own due diligence, again, research. AI is not like a de facto thing, like in the sense that it's 100% verified, but it helps through the process of brainstorming, if you will, researching, and see how you can map and reference things. So what the Constitution is doing here, for example, versus the UCC, stability versus flexibility, governance and authority. This is important. Constitution defines how a society is governed. Okay. It sets up the structure of government, executive, legislative, and judicial branches and their respective powers and responsibilities. Awesome. UCC provides a legal framework for business transactions. It does not establish or govern political authority, but rather facilitates economic activity within the constitutional framework. Beautiful. Okay. So again, I can see like a lot of stuff here between the lines, by the way, and I can give my opinion and speak about it really for the next 2 hours. But I'm gonna leave also a lot and just keep scrolling because there's a lot actually here. So I don't want to bore you with information, a lot of information, and I'm gonna leave the rest as well for you. A constitution and UCC are both essential, but serve different purposes. The Constitution provides the fundamental legal and moral framework. Now, this is here the legal and moral framework. It's important to keep in mind. I'm going to actually add more to this. For society, ensuring justice, protecting rights, and defining governance. The UCC operates within that framework to ensure consistency and fairness in commercial transactions. Together, they create balanced, functional, and just society.